Okay guys, so let's just start again. From 8.6 we are going to do part 2 today. So in 8.6 we were speaking about factoring trinomials when a is greater than 1. So let's take a look at our first example. I have here factor the trinomial where 3t to the second plus 8t plus 4. Okay, first step, you guys know. Let's make that diamond, okay? Next thing, let's check if it's in standard form. 3t to the second plus 8t plus 4. We have 2 as the highest exponent, then 1, then no variable, so we are in standard form. Next thing I asked you guys to do, please list these values, okay, of a, b, and c. In this case, a is 3, b is 8, and c is 4. Okay, next thing, up here we know a times c is 12. Okay, we also know the value of b is 8. Next thing I asked you guys to do is we need to list, actually that's not supposed to be 8, this factor is supposed to be 12. So two numbers that when we multiply them we get 12, but when we add them we get 8. First one, 1 times 12. Obviously I know that product is positive 12, but when I add them I'm not going to get 8, so we can't use that. Next one is 2 times 6. Okay, that looks like it's going to work. 2 times 6 gives me positive 12, and 2 plus 8 is indeed 8. So I have 2 here and 6 here. Okay, let me get rid of all this right here so we can make space. Okay. Oops, not that. Let me get rid of this too. I don't need that. Perfect. Okay, so next thing, we have to take this leading term, make our fractions. Okay, so we have 3t to the second. I know that I cannot reduce, so I make my first binomial. Okay, 3t over 6. I know I can divide that numerator by 3. So 3 divided by 3, I'm left with t. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. So my new binomial, after it is reduced, it is t plus 2. So that is my final answer. Let's take a look at what we're going to be working with today. If you have any questions on this type of problem, please email me because we are moving forward. So here in example 3, if you guys notice, what's different between this example and the one we did before is I have that negative in front of 4. Okay, when we are factoring trinomials, we do not like having negatives as your leading term. Okay, so we need to get rid of that. I'm going to pull it out. Take that negative 1 out. I'm left with positive 4 x to the second. If I took that negative out, this has to become negative. Okay, because negative 1 times negative 12 is going to give me that positive 12. Meaning this also has to be negative 7, because when I distribute that negative 1 again, it's going to be positive 7, which is what I started with. Okay, that's the only difference when we are working with trinomials that a is negative. Just pull that negative 1 out. That's that extra step. From here, it's very straightforward. Let's do that diamond. The value of a is that new positive 4, okay? The value of b is that new negative 12, and the value of c is that new negative 7. Okay, Same thing, a times c, 4 times 7 in this case, is negative 28, okay? And the value of b is negative 12. Same thing, the factors of negative 28. Okay, we have 1 and 28. I know one of them has to be negative in order for me to get negative 28, but I'll never be able to add these and get negative 12. So we're not going to work with that. 2 times, correct me if I'm wrong, 2 goes into 1 once, 4. Okay, one of them has to be negative. And in order for me to get negative 12 when I add them, 14 has to be negative. Okay, 2 times negative 14 is negative 28, and negative 14 plus 2 is negative 12. So over here, I'm going to have 2 and negative 14. Okay, let me get all this out of the way so I can have room to work. Okay, one more. Whatever. Okay, let's get back to writing. 8 was here, 2 was here, and I had negative 14. Okay, remember, what I had inside was 4x squared minus 12x minus 7. Okay, so I have to make my numerator. It's this 4x. 4x goes here, 4x goes here. Okay, let me erase this. So when I'm here, 4x over 2, I can reduce that by 2. So I have 2x plus 1. Over here, I also can divide by 2. So I have 2x minus 7. But do not forget that I did take out a negative 1. So I have to insert that negative 1 back in. And it's going to be right here in the front. And that's your answer. Okay, we're going to do one more or two more maybe. Over here, I'm going to do number 4. Your job is going to do 5 and 6. Okay, so let's take a look at number 4. I have negative 2y to the second minus 5y minus 3. First thing, I need to take this negative 1 out. So I'm left with positive 2y to the second plus 5y. Rule of thumb, when I take out a negative, the signs switch to the opposite sign. Okay? So that's what I have left. Okay? So we do our x. Our value of a is our new positive 2. B is our new positive 5. And C is our new positive 3. Okay? A times C is 6. And the value of B is 5. So I'm going to, right here, the factors of 6. I know right off the bat, it's 2 and 3. 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 plus 3 is 5. So I have 2 here and 3 here. Let me erase a few things so I can make room over here. So I need to box in that leading term, 2y and 2y. Okay, let's make our binomials. Remember what I said, that negative 1 goes in the outside. That's going to be for your final answer. 2y over 2y. I know I can divide both of them by 2. So I have y plus 1. My second binomial over here. I can't reduce that. Leave it as is. And that is my final factored answer. Okay? This is the same thing we've been doing since Monday. All we're doing is pulling that -1 out first. If you have any questions, email me. I know I'm going a little bit fast, but it's very redundant. You've been doing this for 2 weeks already. 5 and 6, that's your homework. I will post those on Google Classroom, but those are yours to do on your own, okay? I am going to do one of these, which is solving the equation. I know on the homework I gave you guys over the weekend, many of you guys had questions on the last 3. You will see why I said you guys have done this before. So let's take a look at number 23. 2x to the second minus 3x minus 35 equals 0. Remember what I said, whenever you have that word solve and you have equals 0, you are going all the way to the end and telling me what x, y, z, l, I don't care what variable you have, you're solving. So in this case, 2 is positive, so I'm not pulling any negative out. We make that x. You need to tell me on the side what the values are. A is 2, B is -3, and C is -35. Okay, let's see. This is going to be a big number, but we could do that. 2 times 35 is -7D, and the value of B is 3, -3. Okay, we need to list some factors of -70. Okay, I already see it. 10 times 7, right? 10 times 7 is 70. I need to make one of these negative in order to get -70. I'm going to make 10 negative because -10 plus 7 is -3. So I'm going to have -10 over here and +7 here. Okay, let me erase some of this work so I can make room for solving. Remember, from this step, that numerator is your leading term. Okay, so we have 2x plus 7. I can't reduce that, so I'm going to leave it. Okay, 2x over -10. I know that becomes x minus 5. Okay, I'm going to erase my diamond because I need to take it to that extra step that I was talking to you guys about. So when we're solving, obviously this was equal to 0. Okay, you take 2x plus 7 equals 0. First thing, you're subtracting that 7. So you have 2x equals -7. My final step is dividing by 2. You have -7 over 2. That's your first answer. Over here, same thing. The opposite of -5 is +5. So you have 5 equals x. That was that extra step that I was asking you guys with your homework over the weekend. When you have a question that says solve the equation and it's set equal to 0. Okay? For homework, you have 4 problems. 24, 25, and 5 and 6. I will be posting them on Google Classroom. Please let me know if you have any questions. Okay? Enjoy the rest of your day.